There was once a man who ruled the most powerful empire the world had ever known. He commanded legions, decided the fates of nations, and was worshipped as a god by millions. Yet every night, beneath the weight of the purple cloak, he sat alone with his thoughts and wrote to himself. Not proclamations or decrees, but questions. Questions about what it means to be good. Questions about how to face death without fear. Questions about how to love people who hate you. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and the private journal he kept during the bloodiest wars of his reign would become one of the most intimate and powerful guides to living ever written. This is not a book about power. It's a book about the soul. You're watching the book Sanctuary. Marcus Aurelius never intended for anyone to read his meditations. These were personal notes, written in Greek, often scrawled in military camps along the frozen Danube River, while his empire waged war against barbarian tribes. He was a philosopher king, the last of Rome's so-called 5 good emperors, and yet he saw himself as deeply flawed, constantly struggling, endlessly learning. What makes this book extraordinary is its honesty. Marcus doesn't preach. He questions himself. He reminds himself to be better, to forgive, to stay calm when the world burns around him. Written nearly 2,000 years ago, the Meditations feel startlingly modern because they speak to something timeless. The human struggle to live with dignity, courage, and compassion in a world that is often cruel, chaotic, and indifferent. In the next hour, we're going to walk through the essence of this ancient masterpiece, not as scholars, but as fellow travelers trying to make sense of life. We'll explore Marcus's reflections on mortality, on dealing with difficult people, on finding peace within yourself when everything outside is falling apart. This is not just philosophy. It's survival wisdom. It's a manual for the soul. And by the end, you might find that the questions Marcus asked himself are the very questions you've been asking too. Marcus Aurelius never intended for anyone to read his meditations. These were personal notes, written in Greek, often scrawled in military camps along the frozen Danube River, while his empire waged war against barbarian tribes. He was a philosopher king, the last of Rome's so-called 5 good emperors, and yet he saw himself as deeply flawed, constantly struggling, endlessly learning. What makes this book extraordinary is its honesty. Marcus doesn't preach. He questions himself. He reminds himself to be better, to forgive, to stay calm when the world burns around him. Written nearly 2,000 years ago, the Meditations feel startlingly modern because they speak to something timeless. The human struggle to live with dignity, courage, and compassion in a world that is often cruel, chaotic, and indifferent. In the next hour, we're going to walk through the essence of this ancient masterpiece, not as scholars, but as fellow travelers trying to make sense of life. We'll explore Marcus's reflections on mortality, on dealing with difficult people, on finding peace within yourself when everything outside is falling apart. This is not just philosophy. It's survival wisdom. It's a manual for the soul. And by the end, you might find that the questions Marcus asked himself are the very questions you've been asking too. Chapter 1. Everything you have is borrowed. Marcus begins his meditations with gratitude, not the shallow kind we scribble in journals to feel better about ourselves, but the bone-deep recognition that every good thing in his life came from someone else. He lists them one by one. From his grandfather, he learned dignity. From his mother, piety and generosity. From his tutors, discipline and the love of learning. Even the emperor who adopted him taught him humility. How to live without luxury despite having access to everything. Why start a book of philosophy with thank you notes? Because Marcus understood something we've forgotten. You are not self-made. Every strength you have, every kindness you show, every moment of courage, it all came from somewhere. A parent who believed in you, a teacher who saw potential, a stranger who showed you mercy when you deserved none. Even your flaws, Marcus suggests, are gifts in disguise. They teach you empathy. They keep you humble. But there's something deeper here. Marcus isn't just grateful for good fortune. He's grateful for the struggles too. He thanks the gods for not letting him succeed too early. for giving him a difficult brother, for the illnesses that reminded him he was mortal. Because without difficulty, he would have become arrogant. Without pain, he would never have learned compassion. Gratitude, for Marcus, is not about being happy all the time. It's about recognizing that every single thing, good or bad, is shaping you into who you're meant to become. And then he does something radical. He turns that gratitude into responsibility. If everything you are came from others, then you owe it to the world to pass it on. You are not the owner of your talents. You're the steward. Your intelligence, your kindness, your courage, these are not yours to hoard. They're yours to give away. This is the foundation of Stoic ethics. You are part of something larger. You are a thread in the fabric of humanity. And when you realize that, gratitude becomes not just a feeling, but a way of life. Chapter 2, The Inner Fortress. Imagine you're standing in the center of a great city under siege. Arrows are flying. Walls are crumbling. Enemies are everywhere. And yet, there's one place they cannot reach. One fortress that no army, no matter how powerful, can ever breach. Marcus calls this place your inner citadel. It's the part of you that no one can touch. Your mind, your will, your integrity. This is the central teaching of the Meditations. The world will hurt you. People will betray you. Your body will fail you. You will lose everything you love. But none of that can touch who you truly are unless you let it. Marcus writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It sounds simple, almost naive, but it's the hardest thing in the world to actually live. Think about the last time someone insulted you. Did you feel hurt? Angry? Of course you did. But Marcus would ask why. The words themselves are just sounds. They have no power. The only reason they hurt is because you gave them permission. You believed them. You let them into your fortress. And once you realize that, once you truly understand that no one can make you feel anything without your consent, the game changes completely. This doesn't mean you become cold or emotionless. It means you become free. Free from the tyranny of other people's opinions. Free from the need for validation. Free from the fear of rejection. Because your worth is not determined by what happens to you. It's determined by how you respond. Marcus faced assassination plots, plagues, the death of children, the betrayal of generals. And through it all, he held his inner fortress. Not because he was superhuman, but because he practiced every single day. He reminded himself every morning, "Today I will meet ungrateful people, liars, traitors, but I will not be harmed, because no one can implicate me in ugliness." The fortress is always there. You just have to remember it exists. Chapter 3. Death is not the enemy. Marcus was obsessed with death, not in a morbid way, but in the way a soldier is obsessed with the terrain of the battlefield. He knew that denying death only makes it more terrifying. So he stared at it. He thought about it constantly. He reminded himself, over and over, that he would die. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in the next hour. And instead of filling him with dread, this awareness filled him with clarity. You could leave life right now, he writes. Let that determine what you do and say and think. What would change if you knew, with absolute certainty, that you had 1 year left? Would you waste time arguing about trivial things? Would you hold grudges? Would you delay telling people you love them? Of course not. You'd cut through the noise. You'd focus on what matters. You'd become ruthlessly honest, deeply present, fiercely loving. That's what death does. It clarifies. But Marcus goes further. He doesn't just want you to remember that you'll die. He wants you to see death as a natural, even beautiful, part of existence. Everything in nature has a season. Leaves fall. Rivers dry up. Stars collapse. And humans? We're no different. To resist death is to resist nature itself. It's like a wave trying to stay in the ocean forever. It's already part of the ocean. It always was. Death is not the end of you. It's the return of you. The atoms that make up your body will become trees, stars, other people. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself. And here's the liberating part. If death is natural, then fearing it is pointless. Marcus watched people cling desperately to life, terrified of the inevitable, and he saw how that fear poisoned everything. It made them cowards. It made them selfish. It made them cruel. But the person who accepts death, who truly accepts it, becomes unstoppable. Because what can you threaten them with? What can you take from them that they haven't already let go of? They're already free. So Marcus practiced dying every day. Not literally, but mentally. He let go of his attachments. He imagined his worst fears coming true. He made peace with impermanence. And in doing so, he learned how to truly live. Chapter 4. The Discipline of Perception. The world is not what happens to you. It's what you think about what happens to you. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy, and Marcus returns to it again and again. He tells the story of how the mind colors everything. Rain can be a blessing or a curse depending on whether you're a farmer or a traveler. Pain can be unbearable or simply a sensation depending on the story you tell about it. Nothing is inherently good or bad. We make it so. Marcus knew this from experience. He ruled during one of the most turbulent periods in Roman history. Plague swept through the empire, killing millions. Barbarian tribes invaded from the north. Generals rebelled. His own son, Commodus, would become one of the most hated emperors in history. Marcus had every reason to despair, but he didn't. Because he trained his perception, he learned to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities. Not as punishments, but as lessons. The impediment to action advances action, he writes. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not positive thinking. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about recognizing that every problem contains within it the seeds of growth. You lose your job. That's an opportunity to discover what you're really capable of. Someone betrays you. That's a chance to practice forgiveness. Your body breaks down. That's a reminder that your mind is still free. But perception is not just about reframing hardship. It's about seeing reality clearly. Most of our suffering comes from illusions. We think we need things we don't. We believe stories about ourselves that aren't true. We imagine catastrophes that never happen. Marcus constantly reminds himself to strip away the layers of interpretation and see things as they actually are. A fancy title, just words. A pile of money, just pieces of metal. A beautiful body, just flesh and bone, decaying from the moment it's born. When you see things clearly, their power over you dissolves. This is the discipline of perception. It's the practice of controlling the lens through which you see the world. And it's the difference between being a victim of circumstance and being the author of your own life. Chapter 5. The Discipline of Action. Perception is the first discipline, but it's not enough to see clearly. You have to act. And for Marcus, right action is simple. It's acting in accordance with nature, not your selfish nature, but the nature of what it means to be human. And what does it mean to be human? To be rational, to be social, to serve the common good. Marcus believed that we are all cells in a single organism. Humanity is not a collection of isolated individuals competing for resources. It's a body. And when one cell thrives at the expense of others, the whole body suffers. This is why selfishness is not just immoral for Marcus. It's illogical. It's like your hand refusing to help your foot. It's self-destruction disguised as self-interest. So every action, no matter how small, should be guided by one question. Is this good for the whole? Not just good for me. Not just good for my family or my country. Good for humanity. Good for the universe. This sounds impossibly idealistic until you realize that Marcus actually lived it. He spent his entire reign trying to hold together a crumbling empire, not because he loved power, but because he believed it was his duty. He forgave traitors. He showed mercy to enemies. He distributed grain during famines, even when the treasury was empty. And he did it all without expecting gratitude or recognition. But the discipline of action is not just about grand gestures. It's about the small, unglamorous, everyday choices. Getting out of bed when you don't want to. being patient with someone who's testing your limits, doing your work with care even when no one's watching. Marcus reminds himself constantly, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel motivated. Just do what needs to be done, now, with whatever strength you have. Because action creates momentum, and momentum creates character. There's a beautiful simplicity to this. You don't need to have your whole life figured out. You don't need to know your purpose or your destiny. You just need to do the next right thing, and then the next, and then the next. That's all life is. A series of present moments, each one an opportunity to act with virtue. String enough of those moments together, and you have a life worth living. Chapter 6. The Discipline of Will. The third discipline is the hardest. It's the discipline of will, and it's about acceptance. Not passive resignation, but the active embrace of reality. Marcus calls it loving your fate. Amor fati. Whatever happens, say yes to it. Not because it's easy, but because it's already happened. Resistance is futile. The only question is whether you'll fight reality and suffer, or accept it and be free. This goes against every instinct we have. When something bad happens, we want to rage against it. We want to ask, why me? Why now? This isn't fair. And Marcus doesn't deny that impulse. He feels it too. But he's learned, through years of practice, that fighting fate is like punching the ocean. You'll exhaust yourself, and the ocean won't even notice. The universe doesn't care about your plans. It has its own logic, its own rhythm. And the sooner you align yourself with that rhythm, the sooner you'll find peace. But acceptance is not the same as apathy. Marcus doesn't say, give up, nothing matters. He says, this is what is. Now, what are you going to do about it? You can't control whether you get sick, but you can control how you respond to sickness. You can't control whether people love you, but you can control whether you act lovingly. You can't control when you'll die, but you can control whether you waste the time you have. There's a profound strength in this. People who accept reality are not weak. They're the strongest people alive, because they're not wasting energy on fantasies. They're not draining themselves with resentment or regret. They're fully present with what is. And from that place of presence, they can act with clarity, courage, and creativity. Marcus faced unimaginable losses. His wife, his children, his health, his dreams for the empire. All of it slipped through his fingers. And yet he never became bitter. He never stopped serving, because he understood that life is not about getting what you want. It's about wanting what you get. It's about saying yes to the universe, even when the universe breaks your heart. This is the discipline of will. It's the final frontier of freedom, and it's the gift Marcus offers to anyone willing to receive it. Chapter 7. The Problem of Other People. Let's be honest. One of the hardest parts of life is dealing with other people, especially difficult people. The ones who lie, who cheat, who betray, who take without giving, who hurt without remorse. Marcus knows this better than anyone. He was the emperor. He dealt with sycophants, conspirators, backstabbers every single day. And yet, his advice is startling in its gentleness. When you wake up in the morning, he writes, tell yourself, today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they don't know the difference between good and evil. Notice what he doesn't say. He doesn't say, they're like this because they're bad people. He says they're like this because they're ignorant. They don't know any better. And if they're ignorant, how can you hate them? It's like getting angry at a child for not understanding calculus. They're doing the best they can with the understanding they have. But Marcus goes even deeper. He reminds himself that these difficult people are his relatives. Not literally, but philosophically. They share the same rational nature. They're part of the same cosmic body. To hate them is to hate himself. To harm them is to harm the whole. And besides, he asks, who says their behavior is actually harming you? Can anyone make you less virtuous without your consent? Can anyone steal your integrity? No. They can insult you, betray you, even kill you. but they can't touch your soul. So what's the problem? This doesn't mean Marcus is a pushover. He believes in justice. He punishes wrongdoing, but he does it without malice, without anger. He sees correction as a form of education, not revenge. And when people can't be corrected, he accepts that too. Some people are beyond help, not because they're evil, but because they're not ready. And that's okay. You do what you can, and you let go of the rest. The key is this: Marcus refuses to let other people's dysfunction infect his own soul. He refuses to become bitter because others are cruel. He refuses to become cynical because others are selfish. He maintains his own integrity regardless of what the world throws at him. And that's the ultimate revenge. Not hurting them back, but becoming so grounded in your own virtue that their toxicity can't touch you. Chapter 8. The Shortness of Time. Marcus was acutely aware that time is the only resource that matters. You can always make more money. You can replace possessions. You can find new relationships. But time, once spent, is gone forever. And yet, most of us live as if we have an infinite supply. We waste it on trivialities. We postpone the important things. We tell ourselves, "I'll do it later." And then, suddenly, there's no later. Marcus writes, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." This is not morbid. It's liberating. Imagine you died yesterday. All your mistakes, all your regrets, all your unfinished business gone. You've been given a second chance. A bonus round. How would you live it? What would you do differently? Who would you forgive? What would you create? What would you say? The tragedy, Marcus observes, is that people act as if they have eternity. They put off becoming better people. They delay expressing love. They waste years in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, pursuits that don't matter. And then they're old, and they look back with horror at how little they actually lived. It is not that we have a short time to live, he quotes from Seneca, but that we waste a lot of it. So what's the solution? Presence. Radical, uncompromising presence. Each moment is all you have. Each moment is a complete life. If you can be fully here, fully engaged, fully alive right now, then it doesn't matter if you live another 50 years or 50 minutes. You've lived. You've tasted existence in its fullness. And no one can take that from you. Marcus practices this by constantly reminding himself that this could be his last day. Not to scare himself, but to focus himself. If today were your last day, would you waste it scrolling through nonsense on your phone? Would you hold on to petty grudges? Would you hesitate to tell someone you love them? Of course not. You'd cut through all the noise and go straight to what matters. That's the gift of mortality. It clarifies. It strips away the illusions. It reveals what's real. And here's the beautiful irony. When you live each day as if it's your last, you don't become reckless. You become more careful, more intentional, more loving, because you realize that every word, every action, every moment is precious. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. All you have is now, and now is everything. Chapter 9, The Theater of Life. Marcus often uses the metaphor of theater to describe life. We're all actors on a stage, playing roles we didn't choose. You didn't choose your parents, your country, your body, your natural talents or limitations. You were given a script, and your job is to play your part well. Not to rewrite the play. Not to complain that you wanted a different role. Just to act with excellence, with integrity, with grace. This is a radical idea. Most of us spend our lives wishing we were someone else. We compare ourselves to others and feel inadequate. We fantasize about different circumstances, different opportunities, different lives. And all of that is wasted energy. Because the life you have is the only life you'll ever have. This body, this mind, these circumstances, this is your stage. And the only question that matters is, are you performing well? Marcus himself struggled with this. He was a philosopher who wanted to live a quiet life of study and reflection. Instead, he was forced to be emperor during one of the most chaotic periods in history. He He spent years in military camps, far from his beloved books, dealing with wars and plagues and political crises. He didn't want that role, but he accepted it, and he played it as well as he possibly could, because that was his duty. That was his part in the cosmic drama. But here's the twist. The play itself is not important, whether it's a tragedy or a comedy, whether you play a king or a beggar, whether you're on stage for 3 acts or 5. None of that matters. What matters is how you play your part. Do you bring honor to the role? Do you serve the play? Do you make the other actors better? That's all. And when your scene is over, you exit gracefully. You don't cling to the stage. You don't demand an encore. You bow and you leave. This perspective is incredibly freeing. It means you don't have to be famous. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to change the world. You just have to play your part with virtue. And if you do that, even if no one notices, even if history forgets your name, you've succeeded. Because the universe doesn't judge you by your accomplishments. It judges you by your character. And character is not about what you achieve. It's about who you are in the face of what life gives you. So the next time you find yourself wishing for a different life, remember Marcus. Remember that he had one of the most powerful positions in human history, and he saw it as just a role, not his identity, not his essence, just a part to play. And when the play is over, the actor is free. Chapter 10, The Practice of Philosophy. For Marcus, philosophy is not an academic exercise. It's not about reading books or debating theories. It's a way of life. It's a practice, like medicine or martial arts. And the goal is simple: to live in accordance with nature, to be rational, courageous, just, and temperate, to cultivate the virtues not because they make you successful, but because they make you human. He writes, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is the Stoic approach in a nutshell. Stop theorizing. Stop procrastinating. Stop making excuses. Just do the work. Practice virtue the way an athlete practices their sport. Every day, in every situation, until it becomes second nature. And how do you practice? Through attention, through mindfulness, through the constant examination of your thoughts and actions. Marcus keeps a journal not to impress anyone, but to keep himself accountable. He asks himself, did I act with integrity today? Did I serve the common good? Did I let fear or desire control me? Did I waste time on things that don't matter? And when he falls short, he doesn't beat himself up. He just notes it. He learns from it. He tries again tomorrow. This is what makes the meditations so powerful. It's not a finished system. It's a work in progress. You can see Marcus struggling. You can see him reminding himself of the same lessons over and over because he keeps forgetting. He's not a saint. He's a flawed human being trying to get a little better each day. And that's the point. Philosophy is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up. It's about doing the work even when you don't feel like it. Even when you fail. Even when no one's watching. Marcus knew that the world would keep testing him. That temptations would arise. That he would get tired, angry, discouraged. But he also knew that he had the tools to handle it. The principles of Stoicism, the practices of self-examination, the support of the philosophy itself. And he trusted that if he kept practicing, kept returning to the fundamentals, he would be okay. Not happy all the time, not free from pain, but okay, grounded, centered, at peace with himself. That's the promise of philosophy. Not that it will solve all your problems, but that it will give you the strength to face them, that it will turn suffering into wisdom, that it will make you more human, not less. And that's a promise Marcus kept until the very end of his life. Chapter 11, The Illusion of Control. One of the hardest truths Marcus forces us to confront is the illusion of control. We like to think we're in charge of our lives, that if we just work hard enough, plan well enough, try hard enough, we can make things turn out the way we want. But Marcus knows better. The only thing you truly control is your mind, your thoughts, your judgments, your reactions. Everything else, your body, your reputation, your wealth, your relationships. All of it is subject to forces beyond your control. This sounds pessimistic, but it's actually the key to freedom. Because if you can only control your mind, then that's the only thing worth worrying about. Stop trying to control your children. Stop trying to control your boss. Stop trying to control the economy, the weather, the opinions of strangers. You can't. And every moment you spend trying is a moment wasted in frustration and anxiety. Instead, focus on what you can control. Your effort, your attitude, your integrity. You can't control whether you succeed, but you can control whether you try. You can't control whether people like you, but you can control whether you act kindly. You can't control how long you live, but you can control how well you live. And when you shift your focus from outcomes to inputs, from externals to internals, everything changes. You become unshakable, because no matter what happens, you know you did your part. You know you acted in accordance with your values. And that's enough. Marcus illustrates this with a simple image. You're like a dog tied to a moving cart. You can either run alongside the cart willingly, or you can resist and be dragged. Either way, the cart is moving. Your choice is not whether to go, but how to go. With grace or with struggle, with acceptance or with bitterness. The outcome is the same, but your experience is entirely different. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you become strategic. You do everything in your power to influence outcomes, but you don't attach to the results. You plant seeds, but you don't control the weather. You train for the race, but you don't control the competition. You love people, but you don't control whether they love you back. And that's okay, because your job is not to control the world. Your job is to be excellent in your own soul. That's all. That's everything. Chapter 12, The Unity of All Things. Near the end of the meditations, Marcus returns again and again to the idea of unity. Everything is connected. Everything is part of a single, living whole. When you harm another, you harm yourself. When you serve another, you serve yourself. There's no separation, no real distinction between self and other. It's all one movement, one organism, one cosmic dance. This is not just mystical poetry. It's a practical philosophy. If you truly see yourself as part of the whole, you can't be selfish. It would be like your hand stealing from your foot. It makes no sense. Everything you do affects the whole. Every choice ripples outward. Every act of kindness strengthens the web. Every act of cruelty tears it. You are not an isolated individual. You are a node in a vast, interconnected network. And your purpose is to contribute to the health of that network. Marcus extends this idea even to his enemies. They are not separate from him. They are part of the same body. And when they misbehave, it's because they're sick. It's because they don't understand their true nature. So his job is not to hate them, but to heal them if he can. And if he can't, to at least not add more sickness to the system. To remain healthy himself. To be the one cell that refuses to become cancerous. This vision of unity is deeply comforting. It means you're never truly alone. Even in your darkest moments, you're held by something larger. The universe is not indifferent. It's your home. You belong here. You're not a mistake or an accident. You're a necessary part of the whole. And when you die, you don't disappear. You just change form. You become part of the soil, the air, the stars. You return to the source. And in that sense, you're eternal. But this unity also comes with responsibility. If everything is connected, then you can't afford to be careless. You can't afford to pollute your mind with petty thoughts, because those thoughts affect the whole. You can't afford to act with cruelty, because that cruelty spreads. You have to hold yourself to the highest standard, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you're part of everyone else. Your virtue is their virtue. Your peace is their peace. And when you heal yourself, you heal the world. Chapter 13, The Art of Letting Go. If there's one theme that runs through every page of the meditations, it's the art of letting go. Let go of your attachment to outcomes. Let go of your need for recognition. Let go of your resentment, your regrets, your fears. Let go of the illusion that you're separate from nature. Let go of the fantasy that you'll live forever. Let go. Let go. Let go. This is not about giving up. It's about releasing the grip of the ego. The ego wants to cling. It wants to control. It wants to make everything permanent. But the universe is a river. You can't hold onto water. You can't freeze a moment. Everything flows. And the secret to peace is learning to flow with it. Marcus practices this daily. He lets go of his expectations. He lets go of his disappointments. He lets go of his desire to be praised for his sacrifices. He lets go of his anger at people who betray him. He lets go of his fear of death. And in the space that remains, he finds something extraordinary. Freedom, lightness, joy. Not the shallow happiness that comes from getting what you want, but the deep, abiding contentment that comes from wanting nothing. This is the ultimate paradox of Stoicism. The less you cling, the more you have. The less you need, the richer you are. The less you fear losing, the more you can love. Because attachment is not love. Attachment is fear. It's the terrified grip of the ego, trying to hold onto something that was never yours to begin with. Love, real love, is open-handed. It gives without expecting. It enjoys without possessing. It lets things be what they are. And when you can do that, when you can truly let go, life becomes a kind of grace. You stop fighting. You stop resisting. You stop trying to bend the universe to your will. You just show up. You do your best. You love what's in front of you. And you trust that whatever happens next is exactly what should happen. Because it's what does happen. And reality, as Marcus never tires of reminding us, is always right. Chapter 14, The Practice of Dying. Marcus spends so much time thinking about death because he knows it's the ultimate teacher. Death teaches you what matters. It teaches you to love fiercely while you can. It teaches you to forgive quickly because you never know when it will be too late. It teaches you to stop postponing your life because there's no guarantee of tomorrow. And most importantly, it teaches you to let go of your fear because the thing you're most afraid of, the thing you spend your whole life running from, is actually nothing at all. He writes, "Death smiles at us all. All we can do is smile back." What does this mean? It means death is not personal. It's not a punishment. It's not a tragedy. It's just nature completing its cycle. The flower blooms and wilts. The river flows to the sea. You're born and you die. That's all. And if you can accept that, if you can really accept it, you become fearless, not reckless, not suicidal, but unafraid of the one thing that terrifies everyone else. And there's a practice Marcus uses to cultivate this acceptance. Every night before bed, he imagines that he might not wake up. He says goodbye to the day as if it's his last. He thanks the people he loves. He forgives the people who wronged him. He releases any lingering resentment or regret. And then he sleeps peacefully, knowing that if death comes in the night, he's ready. He's said what needed to be said. He's done what needed to be done. There's nothing left hanging. This is the practice of dying. And it's not morbid. It's the opposite. It's what makes life vivid. It's what makes every moment count. Because when you know it could end at any time, you stop taking it for granted. You stop sleepwalking through your days. You wake up. You pay attention. You notice the color of the sky, the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter. You feel the preciousness of it all. And you realize that this, right now, is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is your life. And it's already perfect, even in its imperfection, because it's real. Chapter 15, The Still Mind. There is a moment, somewhere between thought and silence, where the soul becomes still. Marcus called this his inner refuge. It's where judgment falls away, desire dissolves, and you remember that nothing external can truly harm you. When the storms of life rage, go there. When people fail you, go there. When everything you built begins to crumble, go there. Because within that stillness lives the only freedom that can't be taken away. The freedom to choose your response. That's what Marcus meant when he said, "Know where you can go is more peaceful. more free of interruptions than your own soul. You don't have to escape the world to find peace. You only have to stop resisting it. This is the essence of meditations, not to retreat from life, but to live it so deeply, so truthfully, that you no longer need to escape, to see beauty in the ordinary, to forgive the unforgivable, to meet every moment, even pain, with calm acceptance. The Stoics never promised that life would be easy. They only promised that if you faced it with courage, it would be meaningful. And Marcus kept that promise. 2,000 years later, his empire is dust. The palaces he walked through are ruins. The armies he commanded are long forgotten. But his words, quiet, humble, handwritten in the dark, still live. They travel through centuries, finding us where we are most lost. Every time someone reads Meditations, Marcus lives again. Every time someone chooses patience over anger, courage over fear, gratitude over envy, he breathes again. That's the real immortality. Not statues, not monuments, but the echo of wisdom that keeps saving us, generation after generation. And maybe that's the final lesson of Marcus Aurelius, that the measure of a life is not how long it lasts, or how loudly it's remembered, but how deeply it helps others awaken. So tonight, when you close your eyes, remember this. The emperor who conquered himself left behind a map for the rest of us. And if you follow it, if you live with dignity, with clarity, with stillness, you'll find what he found. Not perfection, not glory, but peace. This was Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, a journal not of conquest, but of becoming. May it remind you, as it reminded him, that the truest victory is the one won within.